Scientists admit we're not ready for destruction of Yellowstone supervolcano's eruption. Yellowstone is one of the world's supervolcanoes, which scientists have for years warned is overdue for an eruption. Over the past few years, new insights into how the volcano's magma chamber reservoir works have been published, all based on seismic data collected from seismometers installed around the caldera in 2020. The findings are important in order to understand exactly what is going on beneath the surface and whether an eruption or other seismic activity is likely to happen. However, it is worth noting that no matter how testing goes on, none of it would curtail the sheer devastation an eruption would cause. As a result, some scientists say the world isn't ready for a Yellowstone supervolcano's explosion. Yellowstone has erupted 3 times in the last few million years, the last eruption coming in at 1,000 times bigger than the devastating Mount St Helen's event in 1980. So big was its last eruption that it created a vast depression known as a caldera, measuring 55 kilometers long by 80 kilometers wide. Scientists believe an eruption at the site is long overdue, with the last coming an estimated 640,000 years ago. The average space between each eruption has, records show, been around 660,000 years, in which scientists discussed the likelihood of an eruption and what would come afterwards. Geologist Jake Lowenstern said he was wary of Yellowstone's unpredictability, in large part down to its size and complicated nature. Natural systems can throw us a love of curveballs. He said, a lot of things can happen that we're not really ready for. Directly beneath the caldera lies the magma chamber, which is fed by a plume of hot semi-liquid that runs for 65 miles in length. While the chamber contains mostly solid rock, it has the potential to fully liquefy, which could eventually push through the Earth's surface. Currently, the magma is thought to be rising through the plume and into the magma chamber at a rate of around 2 inches each year. When that plume begins to liquefy and move upwards is when scientists will become concerned. As Professor Robert Smith from the University of Utah noted, this restless Yellowstone caldera is truly living. Mr. Lowenstern has spent a considerable time researching Yellowstone's volcanic activity, studying for patterns in its last 3 eruptions. In 2 of the really large eruptions at Yellowstone, so much material comes out, entire mountain ranges end up falling into the ground and essentially disappearing. During the last eruption, a 50-mile stretch of the area's mountains disappeared after it collapsed into the magma chamber. This event ejecting some 1,000 cubic kilometers of rock, dust, and volcanic ash into the atmosphere. It covered much of the U.S., made its way into the Pacific Ocean, and even found itself in the Gulf of Mexico, some 2,000 miles away. For now, Yellowstone isn't showing any signs it is ready to erupt. Mr. Lowenstern said the first indicator would likely be intense seismic activity across the entire park, with weeks and months passing before any earthquakes or fractures to the rock above the magma chamber to appear. He was hopeful in his assessment of a worst-case scenario. Even if Yellowstone did erupt again, you probably wouldn't get that worst-case scenario. What's much more common are small eruptions. That's a point that often gets ignored in the press. Although the Earth will undoubtedly see supervolcano eruption in the future,